Long ago, in a land of golden domes and desert winds, there stood the greatest empire the ancient world had ever known. Persia, a kingdom so vast, so magnificent, that its borders stretched from the rivers of India all the way to the shores of Ethiopia. 127 provinces, all bowing before a single throne. And on that throne sat a king named Ahasuerus, known to history as Xerxes the Great. His palace in Susa blazed like a jewel in the sun, marble columns rising to the sky, gardens perfumed with jasmine and pomegranate, fountains of alabaster that sang softly through the night. Soldiers dressed in gold stood at every gate. Servants in silk answered every whisper. It was a world of absolute power, but power, as we are about to discover, is not always found where we expect it. In the quieter streets of that same great city, far from the throne room, far from the banquets and the silk and the gold, a young Jewish girl lived a simple life. Her Hebrew name was Hadassah, meaning myrtle, a small tree famous for blooming beautifully even in the driest, hardest ground. But the people around her knew her by her Persian name, Esther. She was an orphan. Her mother and father had died when she was young, and she had been raised with patient, steadfast love by her older cousin, a man named Mordecai. He was a quiet man, not wealthy, not powerful by the world's measure, but he was wise, he was faithful, and he loved Esther as his own daughter. Esther grew up learning what it meant to find grace in difficult places. She learned to trust a God she could not always see. She learned to move through the world with gentleness, not because she was weak, but because she understood that true strength does not need to announce itself. She was, in every sense of the word, extraordinary, though she would have been the last person on earth to say so. And this quiet, unassuming young woman was about to step into one of the most dramatic stories in all of human history. It began with a royal decree. The king had dismissed his previous queen, and now the palace was restless, the throne beside him empty. So his advisors proposed a solution: search the entire empire, gather the most beautiful young women from every province, bring them to the palace, prepare them with a full year of royal treatment, and then present them one by one to the king. Whoever pleased him most would become the new queen of Persia. Across the empire, heralds on horseback galloped through the streets announcing the royal search. Families whispered, daughters were hidden, some wept, some dreamed, and among those chosen was Esther. Before she left, Mordecai pulled her close and gave her a single urgent instruction: do not tell anyone that you are Jewish. Do not reveal your people or your family background. Not yet. There was wisdom in this, a quiet caution born from years of living as a minority in a foreign land, knowing that the world did not always welcome what it did not understand, Esther promised. And with that promise resting on her heart, she walked through the palace gates and into a world she had never known. Inside the palace, the young women were placed in the care of a man named Haggai, the keeper of the royal harem. For 12 full months they were prepared: precious oils, rich foods, fine garments, beauty treatments beyond anything most of them had ever imagined. The palace spared nothing, but something remarkable happened with Esther. She did not compete, she did not push, she did not perform. She simply was herself, kind to the servants, gracious to the other women, thoughtful in everything she said and did. And one by one, the people around her were drawn to her, not because of her beauty alone, but because of something deeper, something that could not be manufactured with oils and jewels, something that lived in her character. Haggai, the keeper of the women, a man who had seen hundreds of young women pass through those gates, noticed immediately. He gave Esther the finest chambers, the 7 best maids, every advantage available to her, not because of favoritism, but because he recognized something extraordinary when he saw it. And every single day, without fail, Mordecai walked past the palace gates, just to be near, just to know she was safe, just to carry the worry that a parent carries, even when they cannot do anything except pray. When the time came